think last but not least, just about, I'll be finished with you all, I'm sure, but doing your job. It's pretty obvious that everybody does their job, right? Well, it isn't always that way. I was on that ship. Remember, I was very excited to be on a ship out of Annapolis. Got a little bar for being an ensign in the Navy. So I was in charge, like I said, of the deck, and we had a boat on the ship, a motor whale boat that we take the captain in when we went to foreign ports. We lost the anchor. It was a 100-pound anchor. So, of course, I had a petty officer whose job it was to requisition stuff out of the system, paint brushes for keeping the ship clean. And so I decided that I need to be more involved. So I told the young petty officer, I'm going to go to the supply office and I'll do the chit myself. I'll find it. So yes, sir, whatever you want to do. Of course, that was his job. Take the job away. So anyway, I go down there and I found the stock number and filled out the little chit. Walked out there and thinking, well, Smith, moving along really good. So about 2 weeks later, I'm coming down the pier, and one of my guys down the pier, and they're supposed to be cleaning the ship at that time. So I said, what are you doing? He said, well, sir, I said, I got some news for you. The anchor's here. I said, wow, that's great. He said, no, sir, we have a problem. So I said, what do you mean? So look behind you. Next to our ship was a 10,000-pound aircraft carrier anchor. Not a 100-pound boat anchor. Have you ever had your life go across your feeling for it? So says, oh, this is good. This is what I learned when faced with two courses of action in your life. Take the one that's personally the most uncomfortable. And I said, is the captain here yet? He said, no, sir, he's not. And that's how he said it, too. So I said, well, I think I probably ought to stay, right? And he said, yeah, you should, sir. And I said, well, you stay with me. The captain liked this young kid, so I said, you stay here with me. So he comes down. He was a curmudgeon, this captain, and God love him. And he came down, and I gave him a nice salute. And I said, sir, I can tell you, I requisitioned the wrong anchor. And he had his back to it. So he said, what do you mean? I said, well, sir, if you turn around. It was right next to our ship. It was almost as big as our ship. So anyway, it was the longest 3 seconds of my life. I mean, you couldn't have gone any farther. I said, well, Smith, this is it. And you just got out of Annapolis. Now you're already. So anyway, he said, Mr. Smith, he said, if you were a lieutenant, I'd probably be upset, but ensigns do stupid things like this, so just put it back in. But the whole point in that whole thing was I doing my job? Of course not, I wasn't. And not only did I take the job away from the guy, I screwed it up. And the whole point is that there's a fine thing about leadership, about having a relationship where you work with them, but they still have to have that self-esteem, don't they? And they have to be able to know that they've done something. And it's really hard when you're a smart guy and you're a boss. And sometimes you have to say, that's wrong, and that's fine, that's okay.